Hello and welcome to Wise Up on Air. This is a special hands-on edition. We are going to dig into the work going into the next full release, that's Wwise 2024.1, and the integrations. We've got a couple of folks from the integrations team in the wings. But first, let's dig into some of the exciting things about Wwise and our current summer of beta. We have been out there with the first and second beta releases. These are an opportunity for us to continue evolving the work that we're doing towards the full release of 24.1 in the fall. And it's been super fun. Folks out there, grab the beta through the launcher. You can download the current beta. Coming later this afternoon will be beta 3. And give us your feedback. Let us know how that lands out there in the community. Some changes that we made in beta 2 that you might be interested in are landing squarely in the attenuation editor with a new feature that we have called scaling distance percentage. This gives you the ability on a per sound basis to change the maximum distance of a sound subscribed to an attenuation. And in beta 2, we also added an effective max distance column to give you a preview of that max distance based on the scaling percentage, as well as the ability to show those scaled values in the graph. So if you're into attenuations, you'll want to check out this feature to simplify the way that you use attenuations. And one of the big things in 24.1 is the new property editor, putting your properties into context across your different objects and giving you access to a bunch of different features that will speed up your workflow when you're setting properties for your objects. And a new thing coming in the beta 3 today is that we are adding a new feature to the property editor called favorites. And what this does is it allows you to add properties to a special little favorites filter and get visibility around which properties have been favorited. Those are then put into a favorites category filter, which becomes visible in the property editor. And that category has visibility that you can toggle on and off. Properties can also be removed from the favorites on a per property basis. They can be reordered in that favorites category, so you can put the properties that you want to see in a place and have those persist across different objects. Favorites can also be configured using the Configure Favorites panel. So you could add a bunch, remove them, all within this Favorites configure. We really think this is going to be a cool way to work with properties in the new property editor coming in 24.1. And it really gives us the opportunity to put object editors right into your center focus. So paving the way for a better workflow that keeps the work that you're doing in front of you. And all of this towards a focused and iterative real-time workflow with live media transfer and expanded live editing landing squarely in your game development pipeline, keeping you connected to what you're working on and giving that ability to continue working while you're connected and iterate towards the best sounding experiences. Dig back into the hands-on with the first beta we did back in July as part of our Wise Up on Air hands-on series. And meanwhile, if you're new to Strata, our sound library in multi-track format, we just dropped another free sample into the mix for you to jump into. This is based on our physics collection. So this is our Strata Sample 3 physics, made from the ground up for games that need variations, that need different perspectives, that need surfaces. Again, we're giving you access to 2 of the 70 sub-projects from the physics collection. We're giving you elements that are already mixed and ready, along with those multi-tracks that put all of the layers for these physics sounds into your Reaper project. And that's all tied together using Rewise, our Reaper to Wise transfer extension that allows you to get sounds in and out of Reaper and Wise and into the right spot. So grab that free physics sample in the Audiokinetic launcher and start experimenting with it. It just dropped last week. If you're in Helsinki, we've got a free Wise tour coming up with some smart folks talking about sounds of chilling winter, voices in outer space, the audio behind Frostpunk 2 and the altars. We got Bjorn Jacobson talking about being a one-man band of AAA audio department. And head of product Simon Ashby is going to be out there talking about navigating 50 years of evolution in interactive audio, harmonizing art and technology. He's going to reprise that in Hilversum the next day. So if you're in Hilversum, get signed up and head out to the Wise Tour. We're going to have a couple other presentations there behind the sound of Sensua's Saga, Hellblade 2. This is going to be awesome. This is a game that was made for audio, so I'm excited to have folks there talking about it, as well as adaptive music in Star Wars Outlaws. Will Roger is going to drop a masterclass around his use of Wise, the music system, and his compositional techniques to make Star Wars Outlaws dynamic and engaging. And if you don't know Will, this is a guy who's been behind a ton of Star Wars titles in the past. I had the privilege to work alongside him at LucasArts for some times, and just a fantastic presenter. So if you're in the area, jump over there. Meanwhile, next week I'll be in Seattle, where I'm located at Unreal Fest. So if you're there, hit me up. Be great to talk more about interactive audio with you on the ground here in Seattle. But today we're talking about auto-defined SoundBanks, asset management, and integrations in 2024.1. We're going to get a little history, we're going to get a little future, and what we are going to do is jump right into this conversation with my coworkers, Michel and Hugo. So welcome today to Wise Up on Air. Thanks so much.
Hey, nice to talk to you.
All right. So this is going to be an exciting one where we're digging deeper into the integrations features of 2024.1, stuff we've been working on both in the short term, but also an evolution over time. But before we jump into it, let's do some introductions. Michel, would you like to introduce yourself to the live stream?
Yes, of course. My name is Michel Donais. I'm a senior programmer at Audiokinetic. I've been working in the integration team for many years now, uh, trying to improve things, starting with the 22.1 version, but I was there 1 year before for the 21.1 release. So it's a ride. It's really fun. I love talking to people. I'm very passionate about audio. I'm a low-key audiophile also, and I love vinyl records in general. So that's me.
Nice. And you come from a game design background, so you have already at your core a kind of game development methodology you've been able to bring to the work that you're doing on the integrations team at Audiokinetic.
Exactly. I've been working in the gaming industry for, well, nearly 20 years, more than 20 years now with Audiokinetic. I'm one of the few that actually shipped games and worked in games, creating games from the low level to the highest level and everything, depending on the company. And I've been using Wise for, well, since forever mostly, and eventually I decided, hey, it's a cool thing to actually work at Audiokinetic with people that are as passionate as me in audio, since I love audio in general,
Yeah.
and gaming also. So
Yeah.
if you ever send me an email or something, or if support talks to me about games, I understand you. I've been on the other side of the fence, and I've had the deadlines and everything. So it's always a joy, and I try to do my best.
Totally. And it's great to have your experience driving towards these kind of features we're talking about today in integrations.
Awesome.
Awesome. So handing it off to Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo. I'm a software developer in the integration team as well. I've been in the team for a year and a half now, and I've been mainly working in Unity into developing Autobanks in Unity. So that's what I'll be presenting today.
Great. And you also have a history as a gamer, I would guess.
A gamer, yeah, not necessarily as knowledgeable into music necessarily or sound design, but yeah, I've been gaming quite a lot in my life.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, it's a perfect intersection to have you here today talking about the work that you've been doing. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to you. Take it away.
All right.
And folks out there in the chat, feel free to drop your questions in as we're moving through. We'll weave those into the conversation. And if you have questions outside of what we're presenting, stick around. We're going to open it up for those questions towards the end. So if you're here with questions about integrations in general, we'll be around answering those questions after we move through these cool new features. All right.
All right. So I'll make two demo mainly. First one, I'll just make a simple demo into our gem project, which we've been talking about quite a bit. So the purpose of the simpler demo is just to show the basic of how autobanks work in Unity and also kind of how it works in authoring, although it have been existed for a little while. So I'll start by just making two events, one that is an Autobanks event and one that will be a user-defined event. And I'll simply add some sound to them. And the last thing I'll do is simply create a sound bank for my user event. And I'll simply add it there, generate my banks. And that's pretty much it for the authoring side. So now I'm switching to Unity. Those samples will be there in the JIT project if you go get them in the GitHub repository. So this is the Autobank one. So all there is into the to the inspector, there's only the AK event. So maybe I should refresh my project first. Okay. The Autobanks there. And that's pretty much it with Autobanks. There's nothing more to do. It will load and it should play the sound. And as you can see, the checkbox is checked off because it is not an Autobank. This is done automatically and you barely or you don't have anything to do.